Tor, the Refugees Regional Coordinator, Liberia Returning Network Incorporated. Mr. Marshall and uh, Madam Tor, good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Uh, how are you?
Well, I'm doing good.
Okay. Let me first start with you, Mr. Marshall. How's the network?
The network is doing good. I mean, we just achieved a milestone again.
Mm,
We celebrated our 11th anniversary, and we're able to have a fundraising dinner, which was successful to us because the activities were achieved, and what we wanted to do was done.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what was done?
We wanted to have the program. We wanted the message to go out, and the message. And so, in ourselves, we were successful, although the turnout was not favorable for us.
Mm,
But what we believe in is that the message should go out. And the keynote speaker struck a very good point, which resonated with me
okay.
and the rest of the members so much. A little love.
First of all, let's understand essentially the work you do as a network.
The network is, is a group of refugee returnees
Mm,
that cater to refugees and refugee returnees, empowered, rehabilitate, do follow up, do family connections, and all of these things. These are things that were involved because we did not want to come back to serve as an impediment to our own country, but we came as an asset to
mhm.
our nation. And so we are into rehabilitation, we are into empowerment. Today, we can boast of, you know, educating in returnees and non-returnees. We are into communities, helping to rehabilitate, helping to empower young women, young men into hands-on career. Because we learned these things when we were out of the country, came back home and saw that there was a need in Liberia setting. There was a serious need. We look at agriculture. I mean, we look at education as just from one aspect, academic.
Mhm.
But you know, when you fight war and it's prolonged,
Yep.
you have people who were in third grade, fourth grade, they were kids when the war started. Before the war could come to climax, they were already adults. They were parents. You cannot take them back to third grade to save with their children. All they need is a hands-on career to carry their life forward. And we did that in 2013 with UNIDO. We divided Moreover into 6 clusters, and we got to realize this was the point. It was the area that Liberians needed the most,
Mm,
which we did our own assessment, and I said it, and I'll continue to say it, that DDRR was a failure
mm.
because DDRR did not address the main issue.
The long term.
You all you wanted, give us the arm, we send you to school. The person already have a family, all
Okay.
right? You had to consider their wife, their children, and all of these things. You did not consider it and say, oh, they took the librarians don't want to go to school. They took the scholarship, they sold it to people. No. Did you consider the family aspect?
Mm.
You
Okay.
needed to consider these things.
So, in essence, you are living that particular dream, that you are hoped DDRR will consider building the capacity of these people, livelihood wise.
So,
Today, you've trained a lot of people, but let me come to Madam Tor. I mean, you are the Refugees Regional Coordinator.
Yes, sir.
As part of the work you do, tell us essentially what you do.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, I live between those countries that still have refugees,
Okay.
like Guinea, Sierra Leone, Abidjan, and in Ghana. Right now, I'm stationed in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but getting to them, knowing their needs, so one on one,
Mm-hmm.
and I should say, their stories always saddens myself
Mm-hmm.
more than even my own story. Okay, and getting their needs across. So whenever I come, I give, the feedback. This is what it is, and their heartfelt, need is just to come home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why we came up with this initiative to create home back home for them.
Okay.
So that's why we have been into this venture of constructing housing units for them. We started that since 3 years ago.
Okay.
We purchased that land space, 10-acre space in Clay,
Mm-hmm.
Baldwin County.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been on this campaign pleading to people since then. So this gone Saturday, that dinner was to put an end to that. We just believed that we could get the 4 million United States dollars to construct those 240 housing units for them. And one housing to will cost about 16,000 United States dollars. And so we are still on it.
Mm.
But I will tell you that they are there and they need to, come home. That's what they want.
Getting in contact with them physically, understanding their stories. Are there similarities or dissimilarities in the stories of refugees or returnees or all these people that you encounter on a daily basis as part of your work?
Thank you. I will tell you there are similarities.
Okay.
The worst part is that the secession clause did not favor people, so they don't have the skills, the hands-on,
Mm.
and so they were just like in Waterloo refugee camp, the houses were constructed for refugees. That was the only thing that the international community was thinking about, but did not give them the requisite, skills to be able to manage themselves there.
Mhm.
That's the reason why they want to come home. And they are still feeling like this is not our place. I mean, we cannot make it here. But everybody just feel 2021, we were on Power TV, and people called in and they said those people don't want to come. They United Nations give them money before and something, but people don't really understand. So we are still on that, trend, making people to understand that these people really need to come home. So we shot a documentary that showcase people talking about these things. That's what we get to do. So the reason why we haven't accomplished that yet is because people still don't believe that this is the kids that they have. Comparing my own story with their story and their needs and all that is more than pathetic.
Mm.
Yeah, I would tell you that. I always still feel I was 9 years old when the war occurred, and nobody want to just wake up in the morning and choose to be a refugee.
Mhm.
We shouldn't treat them that like that they just want to be. It was not by choice, but it was by force. Okay, and so we need to wrap around them. We don't exclude ourselves from them. No,
Okay.
for me, I
You
still
mean the
choose.
network?
No, yeah, the network.
Okay.
So I still choose to call myself a refugee, even though I don't reside in the settlement. But I don't take myself away from it. It's not about passion, because when you say this is you're passionate about doing it, it means you are doing for people
Mm.
because you want to do for them. But I'll do it because I'll do it for myself.
Yep.
That's the reason why we're doing it.
Mr. Marshall, why are we having the discussion about refugees in the first place when we ask? Because we're not hearing the sounds of the gun. And it's, as much as they sometimes feel the pinch of being a refugees, do they still think that they are refugees with the silence of the gun? Are they feeling the impact of refugees during the sound of the gun?
The silence of the guns does not mitigate that one's not a refugee.
Hmm.
Since World War II, the Israelis still feel that refugee impact. Today, you have war in Gaza.
So it's psychological.
It is. You have war in Gaza today, all because of refugee situation. And Liberia is of no exception to this. If we really get to find out what these people are faced with as a nation, like the keynote speaker said, a little love will just do.
Hmm.
Because some people will say, eh, let them come home. We are not fighting. We have had a lot of election. This is why the host country are treating them the way they are treating them. Because we have had series of elections. Government has come, gone, yet and still attention that been drawn that you have group of people, that you are governing some people and group of your people, almost 100,000, 200,000 are still out there and you don't care about them. Your attention is not being drawn to that. All right.
Mm.
And when a host country come out, like in 2020 in Ghana, the people wanted their land. And
Mm.
we stepped in as a network, drew Liberian government attention to this. The Ghanaian embassy had to come in. Is when that issue went to silent.
Mm.
But it's still pending. That is not their home. They've learned different culture. They don't know the Liberian national anthem. The children who are born there, you have unaccompanied elderlies.
Mm.
The refugee situation it varies from point to point. You have those who born in exile who don't know Liberia. They are stateless because the parents who bore them in those countries died. They don't know their connection. You have unaccompanied elderlies. You went there in your 40s. Now you carry some kids along. The stronger ones you carry, unfortunately, some of them died. Some travel out because they didn't see their way through. You old, you in your 70s, you have no one to help you, to bring you back home. When you were in Liberia, you were renting.
Yep.
Where do you come as an elder?
So that brings me to the next question with the work of the network, because you have to work with the refugees, then you have to work with the returnees. So tell us, what do you do with both groups?
The first thing is we work with the refugees to tell them,
These
that,
are refugees are the ones who are still away.
yeah,
The
the,
returnees are the ones who have come.
yeah, the refugee, we tell them, we give them hope that you have a country that still loves you
Mm.
and you can return home. And then the returnees, when they are here, we create a safe haven for them. We give them rehabilitation. We help them to reintegrate. We help them to, if you don't have skills, we help to give you skills. All right. Because these are fear of people returning. The first thing when I get home, where do I stop? Where's the lodging place? If the evening reaches, everyone goes indoor. Where my kids and I going to pass the night. All right. I don't have a skill. I live in a refugee camp all alone,
Mhm.
and I have that stigma. And where I am, I don't have the ability, or there's no opportunity to work. I want to go home, but I don't have a skill to go home. How do I get started? Job creation. All of these things, it become a stumbling block and fear for these people to return home. So when they come home, the network help.
Okay.
So long you are in contact with our, like, we work along with
So
hours
when they come home, automatically their name changed to
to
returnees.
returning. Yeah.
Okay.
When you are in the refugee camp, you're still a refugee.
Mm. So, Madam Tor, what are some of the practical, situations, challenges they go through as refugees? Because you deal with them as refugees when they come. to Liberia, they are returnees, then the network get fully involved. But does the network get fully involved even if they are still refugees?
Well, I would say yes because of my presence and intervention.
Hmm.
Mostly, what I do with them, like
Okay.
my boss is saying,
Hmm.
is to encourage them.
Okay.
Okay, the network is still striving to get them properly, settled. But over there, what we do mostly is I counsel them, and they have issues with school fees, some sickness, and something. And there was a time we did even something like a little donation,
Hmm.
not with everybody, but some people who we could reach out to. And some do sell petty stuff, some do in the market. They kind of run shifts, to feed their families. In Guinea, that is worse. They are kind of like stuck. They don't move about without being involved with the nationals. So for the moms, they go to farm. Most of them are agriculturists. That's why we launched this agriculture project, and we know that they are going to flourish when they get back here.
Hmm.
And so there in Guinea, the moms go to the farm. Sometimes I measured my height with them. I felt so bad because I'm 5'7", and some are even shorter than me. So they get into these swamps to cut rice, the bundles, and you are to cut 11 a day. If you do 10, then it's for your boss. Then you go hungry that day without anything. But if you do 11, then you have one, for yourself. It's kind of challenging and it's very bad. I mean, you know what a swamp is like, and a muddy and something like. I have been, a refugee, but I will tell you, I haven't been into a swamp, to do that kind of job. It's very, very bad. And then their daughters, we have babies, giving birth to babies. That was the saddest part, that get to me because this teenage pregnancy is something we try to stop with just having population upon population. They have their daughters. They will, send them to the marketplaces to be with those the locals there. And what they do, what we heard, it was very very bad. That those women kind of like make some connections with some Kenyan men, and they just get to abuse those girls, and then they get pregnant, and they get right back to the refugee camp with their moms, and they have to carry on that kind of burden. And
Mm.
yes, I must tell you that that was a sight that I never dreamed of seeing, and so it's very pathetic. So
Do they want to come back home?
yes, sir, they do. We were live on Front Page Africa. Most of the time, we always take this guy Webster Clay from Front Page Africa. He follows us around, and he got to see these things for himself. We all slept on the bare
Mm.
floor. Okay, they kind of like constructed something on the floor. No, some, and then they have rice bags or some kind of sacks or touch. They live in touch, houses and structures there. So they just fix it some kind of way. I don't even know how to describe it, but he saw those things, and
Mm.
we went live. You could see the agony in their faces. They expressed, those things, and he even had tears in his eyes, and I got to see him like it was like and they're very, very terrible. That I will tell you, they
So,
really do want
so
to come.
Mr. Marshall, what's the process of getting them back home? Who bears responsibility, and what role do you play in their repatriation?
What like we are serving as a liaison.
Mm.
Um, we have it got to be government. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year or 2022, we tried to encourage the past government to get involved, and we advocated for a whole year, and barely they got involved. Um, when it got to time that we needed to be the one to channel this,
Mm.
the government left us out. And there is this bridge, all right, between the Liberian government and the refugees already. It's a bad blood.
Mm.
They feel abandoned. They feel like government don't have their time and they are not responsible for what they are going through. And government has lied to them many times. El Chaparasi went there and, oh, we're taking you people home. The first time they started the process, it was like after 10, 15 years, when you get to the transit camp on Ralphie Highway, you get $5 and just about a scratch card. If you had a family to go to, and you call the family member, I'm here, come for me. After 3 days, they let you out. So it discouraged a lot of people to return home. While still in Ghana, we advocated that, hey, UNHCR, LCCC, do the right thing. Just to come and see mission between Iraq,
Mm.
all right, when the war started in Iraq, people to go home, family to go and see um that from Kuwait that look, Iraq is okay for me to go home. Sometimes you are as a family here, you are given a 2,000, 3,000, $4,000 to just go and see. Like they come and see mission for Labro, they selected heads, individuals that the government had confidence in.
Mm.
They brought them, they lodged them in hotels, gave them some money, and they went by and said, Labro is okay for you to return. Labro being okay for you, not Labro being okay for John
Mm.
or Sarah. So it needed to be an individual issue. So these were things that we've been pushing. Go to these people, encourage them to come. What is the problem? Get to know their cases, get to know their problems. If you know their problems and you put them in your shoes and don't preempt, then you get to understand why they are still there.
Because the narrative has been these people don't want to come back home.
That is not true. We travel from country to country. We travel all around West Africa. People are yearning to come home. If the government can take ELBC from here, follow us, sponsor that trip, and you get to refugee camps, you get to understand the problems of the people that they are willing to come home, but they feel abandoned.
Mm.
And to come home is a hard decision for them because they don't have a place called home by home. So this is why we launched
Mm.
this housing campaign. And for 3 years, we've been talking this.
What's the population of Liberians? Let's take for Ghana for example, Liberians who are still in Ghana in the refugee camp want to come home but feel that because of these conditions they rather stay in where they are than to come back home.
We got close to 5,000 still in refugee camp in Ghana.
Mm.
Yes.
Then what is their major concern?
The major concern is housing,
Okay.
lodging place. That is the key. When you take me by home,
Mm.
are you going to dash me in the street? Where am I going to stay with my kids? I came here as a boy. Now I'm a man. I have family. Where am I going to? Who going to lodge me? Some of these people have lost contact with their family members. Some of them, the father and mother that bore them, are no longer living. So they don't have a family connection. How do they come home? Who are they coming to? The Liberia become a foreign land for them. They need a way out. They need someone to accompany them because Liberia become a foreign land for them. In fact, uh, in early 2000, in the May 2000, I have gone to the um, birth certificate area to vie for two Liberians who signed for it. They went to my office. They said, Mr. Marshall, I went for my birth certificate, but they say I'm a Ghanaian. And you know me, I born around the camp. But I took the initiative to come home. But because of my accent, they are denying me that I'm not a Liberian. These are issues that the nation got to address.
Mm.
If a Liberian left the United States, sound like an American, get here, I'm not being prejudiced, but a Liberian will quicker tell you, oh, he a Liberian, but he born in America. But if a Liberian sounded Nigerian or sounded Ghanaian, you will vow that this man is a foreigner. He's not a Liberian. And we need to stop these things. And this is the area that, you know, the entrepreneurship and the Liberian government been, lacking to develop and to look to encourage the people to come.
Okay, then let's come to the housing unit. The main reason you're trying to give reason to these people to come back home,
Yeah.
or else you wouldn't endeavor to build housing units. Where are we with the housing units?
We got the land.
Mm.
We now wanted to clear the land and start the project. This is why we had a dinner, all right, to raise at least $4 million
Mm.
to start this project. And we believe that we can achieve it. Sometimes I get so discouraged when librarians contact me and say, that is a national issue. Why are you taking it up? I'm a national human being. I'm a
Mhm.
national person. Without me, you don't have a national. All right. So just a little love, like the keynote speaker said, just a little love will do. If we all learn to take initiative, have that empathy, that indeed what the person is faced with, I'm also faced with it. He is a librarian. And when he don't have a place to sleep, I too don't have a place to sleep.
Mm.
Suppose it were me, what would I expect for someone to do? When we start to put ourselves in others' shoes, we'll not sit back and criticize. We'll take up the issue and run with it as librarian.
Okay. Okay, if you just joined us, you're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio with me, Varfaly Kamara, this morning. My guests are Mr. Tyron Marshall. He is the Executive Director of the Liberia Returning Network, and Brenda Alberta Tour, the Refugees Regional Coordinator at the Liberia Returning Network. Uh, Back in Ghana, uh, following the completion of the housing units, which I think it will be a couple of years from now before you get that functioning. You see how many housing units?
240
Is that enough, or it is an initial start?
it's just a start
Mm.
because we believe that the number of people out there, and even those who are here, I have I have a sister. She passed peace be to her ashes. I mean, she followed me religiously when I was advocating in Ghana, and she was she was part of the initial group that I had called the Joint Library Refugee Committees in Ghana, JOREC, and she was a member. She came here and passed. She left her children. She left 4 kids. Those 4 kids, they are orphans. They are here. They don't have a place to stay. So you already have people on ground here that already have housing problem. They contact me daily. There's another returnee
Mm.
who have a case is pending at the Supreme Court. He came home, came to his father's land, the father's house. His brother-in-law stopped him from entering the house. The brother-in-law got married to his sister.
Mm.
According to the story, the sister has passed, and the brother-in-law told him that your sister sold this house to me before dying.
Mm.
Can you imagine that? And this man came back home. He don't have a place to stay,
Homeless.
homeless. And this case has been on for almost 3 years.
Mm.
The case was at the lower court. They could not find a way out. Now it's at the Supreme Court. And when I got back from the States in 7th of March, he came out of the place. Right now, where he's living, they've given him notice. He came into the network 7th of March, I need a place to stay. So we are arranging to rent a place for him. When his father have a house and the sister got married and the husband took over the house after his sister passed. When he came, they could not even give him a room in the house. These are the situation that these people going through, returnees and refugees are going through. And it's so pathetic. Sometimes when you don't know the story, you see it from a different point of view.
In the absence of getting this housing units dream a reality in Liberia, what are you doing for returnees?
We are building capacity.
Mm.
We're doing vocational training. All right. Um, Sometimes like the returnees public would may not know all because they have spontaneous returnees.
Mhm.
People who stay in Guinea and just got tired and say, I'm tired with this
These are
life.
people you don't keep track of. So who are the returnees that you put in your database that under
Those that
your
those that
supervision?
we went to the refugee camp and got them to get
Okay,
to come
that,
home.
that is your own initiative to
Yes.
getting them returned.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep track of those. And those who return home and went to the office, heard about us and went to the office, some are returnees. And this is my case. They will start to follow up.
Okay.
So when we launch our program in communities, we ask who is a returnee, who is not a returnee. And we get to understand
Okay.
those cases.
Okay. Madam Tor, in Ghana, like where you based, talk us through the process of getting a refugee, turning a refugee into a returnee.
I like that. Um, the process is, I would say, too many bureaucracies
Mm.
that is involved in this entire thing. And let me divert a little. Um, the bureaucracy I'm talking about, it kind of cost the life of one of our brothers,
Mm-hmm.
one Mr. Doe in Guinea
Okay.
and
Sierra
in
Leone.
Sierra Leone.
No, Sierra Leone.
Thank you for the correction. And he was stricken with very bad condition, crying and all, just wanted to come. And we could not take him at the time. So we got to the Liberian embassy in Sierra Leone, and they got to tell us that, yeah, they knew about his case, but this person has to be involved, that person has to be involved. So later we got the news that he passed.
Mm.
And it's still, hurting till now. And so that's the reason we are fighting to hasten this thing and not too much of these between this office. This person has to do this. Now in Ghana, the issue there is that the office responsible for refugees on the refugee settlement. The officer there had to tell me that they cannot work with us directly. We have to fall under the LRRC
Mm-hmm.
here. And the LRRC also, like my boss said, they kind of like let me use the word sidelined our advocacy because they want to be in the forefront. I thought smartly it would have been, since these people are the ones on the field, so let's just do them and use them to get this thing, underway. They just get to empower us so that I could take the letter to the Ghanaian office they're responsible for refugees,
Mm-hmm.
and then they could just allow me to go through everything. But I saw it as a waste that after sitting in the LRRC meeting in 2022, they kind of I told them I have people there already. I recruited people that could help me with the database and all that. But to my utmost surprise, they kind of took a six-man delegation from here, including the boss,
Mm-hmm.
there to do the same.
Process.
Yeah, processing is something. Why would you pay people, ticket from here to there, and when people there can do the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you that their mission there kind of like failed because by this time we should have had the people. That was during the heat of the demolition exercise. The ultimatum that was given for the refugees to leave that land that was paid for by the UNHCR since 1990. The time has expired.
Mm.
So the land belongs to the locals. So the 30th of September, 2020 was a hot time.
Mhm.
So I had to go back. I was here when the ultimatum came up. So I had to go back to make sure that, things would be in order. So, like my boss said, the intervention from our side kind of cut across, and the demolition exercise is on a halt. It's not
Mm.
yet here. So whilst I was there, the Ghanaian ambassador called him here because I was interviewed by one of the Ghanaian station, and I told them that yeah, I'm from the returning network. This is what we do, and da da da. So then he called him and asked, so this is this and this is that, and he said yes. So it kind of put a hold. But what we sat in the meeting, the Ghanaian ambassador, IOM, ECOWAS, we sat in that meeting, LRC, and they gave their feedback that this is what they want to do there. And then the Ghanaian government agreed to take Liberians from the camp and bring them to the borders of Liberia.
Mm.
Yes, Liberian border right here. So it is up to the Liberian government to, take her people in. So we were happy with that kind of news because then it's a burden lifted. But till now, we saw nothing going on. So we didn't know what, held that process again. It
So,
was
so as
okay.
we speak, the people haven't been removed or
Haven't
moved
been removed.
from the camp to the
Not
border.
even one
So the
person.
camp and the border, which one is feasible to leave?
Oh no, they were not going to live at the border. They were just going to. The moment you bring them, okay, then we just open the border and bring them
Okay.
inside. Yeah, that's
So,
what that's
so,
what I meant.
so it is the process of bringing them to Liberia.
Just bringing them to Liberia already. That was the process. So it was not a burden for the government here.
Yeah,
It was the burden for the Ghanaian government.
yeah.
So I don't know. They didn't explain.
Because it was a called in transportation
Yes, sir.
from the camp
Camp.
to the border.
Yes,
It's not burdensome,
and not at all.
you know.
Not at all. So I don't understand. I mean, till now we still haven't had that, understanding. And they were talking about they don't know. They kind of gave people the kilos, to bring. And somebody was like, I acquired all my stuff, something. I cannot leave my properties to come, start over and all that. So it was kind of unreasonable,
Mm.
So it caused a lot of, but yet and still, we don't know why that process is on hold. So we cannot, as an entity, just go and then take those people and bring them because our refugee entity,
Mhm.
as part of the government, hasn't given us that mandate to do so. So that is where we are. We are stuck completely.
But Mr. Marshall, I mean that scenario is cracking to me. It's a possible because right now, we have a new government. There will be a new management team at LRC. Is that something possible?
Precisely. I think the documents are there. Um, it was something that the foreign minister of Liberia,
Hmm.
the HRC, and someone from immigration, they all went to that meeting in Ghana. They had a meeting and they prepared a roadmap, and that roadmap was to be achieved 2021 January 4th. So the documents are there. All right, and we sat in a meeting for hours at HRC head office, and later a follow-up meeting at Corona Hotel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, and we sat there for hours where the outgoing Ghanaian ambassador was in that meeting, and he himself with IOM and LRC and UNHCR we all sat in that meeting,
Hmm.
and what we pondered over was giving them a kilo to bring. We say was unreasonable,
Mm.
and a package for return. Say somebody can stay 33 years out, sir,
Mm.
and you give them $150 with 20 kilo to just get home with their children. That's unreasonable. So we appeal to the Liberian government, at least step up the money. If it's 1,005 per head, do that, and then let them bring every belonging they have. Let them bring it because they have stayed there over the years. All right, and the only thing we got was a feedback This thing is burdensome. The government cannot take it up. That was the last thing I heard from the last director.
Mm.
Say, Mr. Marshall, it's burdensome. The government cannot undertake that. What when we were coming, what I told Bernard said, what we lack in Liberia is our belief system. When we believe in
We
ourselves,
think everything is impossible.
it's impossible. How we can achieve this? I can't do it. This one will beg a lot as a country.
Jim Gooding said the impossible is often the on try. If you don't try, it's impossible.
Thank you. All right. As a country, we beg to pay our civil servant. That I mean, I can envisage, I can see it.
Mm.
When we believe in ourselves, we can achieve a lot. We are resilient people. We got so much potential that we can do. But our belief system is too low. Somebody tell, how you gonna raise 4 million? I said $4 million is just a chicken change for someone. If we believe every library honor our sound of the voice today, that we if just we open a trust fund
Mhm.
and say just dollar. 4 million librarians just put $1. $4 million.
You know
And we
what
achieve that.
I do see here is it will require the statutory entity like the LHRC to highlight the the challenges of Liberians who are still in refugee centers across the continent, because it has been portrayed as not only these people don't want to come home, but they are good. They are okay. You know.
But,
So until organizations like yours highlight the dire situation of the people, the country will not take it serious. The rest of the population will not take it
this is
serious.
why we are doing this. Powerfully. I'm telling you, people who are sat in that position, every time I encounter them, one thing all of them got in common. Marshall, I sit in a government position, I propagate what the president want me to propagate. Every one of them that sat in that position I encounter, they always told me that. If the president is ready for this, I'll be ready for it. If the president is not ready for it, I can push it. Which means they are not innovative. They don't have the willpower. They don't see it. The president is the president. But when the president puts you in a position and you see a way to carry the nation forward, you say, Chief Executive, this is what I see. I believe we can achieve this. This is our plan. This is our way forward. These are our challenges. This is the progress. If we do this, this is what we achieve. The president will not see your vision in promoting his agenda as an indictment for him. No.
Mm.
But the sycophancy way of working in our country need to stop. That when the president laughs, everybody laugh. When the president front, everybody front. And we need to stop.
So
If we
are you planning to engage the authorities now?
we already engaging,
Okay.
and we are so happy that the president project office is, we invited the president to the dinner, and the project office called us, so the president will not be able to come, but he designated someone, and unfortunately the president did not come, but they are engaging. Yesterday, they called Brenner yesterday
Okay.
that, oh, sorry we could not attend because of XYZ, but we surely we'll get in touch with you. And we tried our best. We met him before
Mhm.
when he was vice president, even when he was a political leader. We sent our project, this the housing unit, and we call it the situation analysis. We sent it to him.
Mm.
We drove at his house and gave it to someone and said, oh, he will surely have it. And we believe that you're a man of wisdom.
Yep.
So long the project office is contacting us, we believe that he will do his best.
Okay, let's see if we can take a few calls and then wrap up. You're listening to the Super Morning Show this morning. Mr. Tara Marshall is the executive director of the Liberia Returning Network, and Brenda Berta Tour, Madam, Refugees Regional Coordinator, Liberia Returning Network Incorporated. Call us on 080514096, 07705818886, or 080514096. And let's hear you if you have some concerns concerning what we're talking about. Let's hear from this person this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Bobby Addison calling from Zuba Town. Zuba Town, Cody. What I called this morning to say good morning to your studio guests. I've been following you guys, and I got a few questions. I remember my days in Maryland County when I worked with Army Radio and that of Talking Drum Studio. The United Nations, UNHCR had this program called Come and See with Ivorian and Liberians that was in the Ivory Coast, Taboo, and Central Road. Are you doing similar thing for Liberians in Ivory Coast, gaining a sea visit, so that
Hello? Oh, line seems bad, but I think he essentially trying to say, are you thinking about doing similar thing where you take people to the site and let them see for themselves so that they can understand what the people themselves are going through?
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I,
But let's take more calls, and then you will respond to the concerns, or he will call back. We don't know. But call us on 080514096, 7705818886, 07705818886. Mr. Addison, you can call back. I think that was the network. It's been terrible since morning. So call us on 080514096 or 7705818886. Yeah, you can just respond to that quickly.
yeah, I think I once from initially I talked about the come and see.
Mhm.
We cannot do the come and see now
Mhm.
because we don't have the housing prepared.
Sorry, Mr. Marshall. Let's take this call. Good morning. Okay, go ahead.
All right. All we are doing is to reach out to them, encourage them. It's time to get home. Stop suffering here. When you get home, we'll have your back. Is what we are doing now in the refugee camps. All right. We get there, talk to them. No, your fear, alleviate your fear that when you get home, nobody will be there for you. We are going to be there. So it's what we are doing. We don't have that kind of capacity to make someone to come and see. If we have the housing unit prepared, then we can do come and see. When you come, we'll show you a house that you and your family will go into and live. Then we can do that. But for now, we don't have that capacity. All we do is to give them home
Okay.
and encourage them to come.
Okay. We kind of out of town, out of time. So I will just come to you, Madam Tor, just to give your parting comments.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, what I want to say is it's about people thinking that these people don't want to come.
Mhm.
Okay. The reason for this protracted stay mostly is this cessation clause. The package that was given, the durable solution,
Mhm.
it was kind of favorable, very feasible for these people's, ears, talking about giving them housing, giving the children, education packages, health packages, and all that. And those things were not realized. So people kind of felt like, okay, since I've been away from home all this long, I'm not used to that place. I think I can better, it'd be
Mhm.
better for me to stay here. And then if my children can go to school, if I can have housing and all that, be protected, get health a package, then it's kind of okay for me. But I will tell you that those things were not realized. So that's why people kind of, staying so long. And some people are demanding, I would use that. Some people are demanding that this is what they're supposed to get. If they were not supposed to get that, they were not supposed to be told.
Mm.
So yeah, so it is like that. But here is the thing. Some have given up, like we are talking to them that it is now over
Mm.
and those things are not going to be. Because I tell you that as feasible as the packages, most of the host nations are kind of poor.
Mm.
We're all in the same West Africa. So it's kind of like, they wish that their countries would rather, have those things, other than, people coming from outside, having those things and something. So people should not feel that these people did not want to come home or they just want to be here and there and something.
Yeah.
Somebody called also in the studio and said some people came in and enjoyed the United Nations and the money and then they went back and all that. It was just because due to what my boss said, come and see, and then those things were not realistic. They were
Yeah.
just kind of like teasing people
Yeah.
with those ones. But nobody should feel that these people are different and that they don't want to come.
Okay, thank you. That will be your parting comments, Mr. Marshall.
I think what I want to say is the Republic of Liberia need to bring a closure to the refugee affairs for Liberians, and it is realistic. It's worth doing. It's something we're supposed to do. They are our people. We need to bring them home. We can achieve it if we believe it. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you so much. He's Mr. Tara Marshall, Executive Director, Liberia Return Network. Earlier you heard to Madam Brenda Alberta Tor, Refugees Regional Coordinator at the network. My name is Varfaly Kamara. You can join me tomorrow for another presentation of the Super Morning Show.